Straight ahead on 11 News, it's being called a day without immigrants. People across the country showing their support of immigrant rights in the United States. We'll have that story. Also, a handful of supporters joined in today in Grand Junction to show their support, and our young people using profane language more often. 11 News reporter Mike DeFina begins a two-part series on the issue next on 11 News.
Live from Grand Junction, you're watching KKCo 11 News at 10.
Across the nation, it was a day of no work, but lots of political action for hundreds of thousands of immigrants. Good evening, and thanks for choosing KKCo 11 News Colorado. I'm Jean Reynolds. The so-called Day Without Immigrants was organized to show the muscle support that immigrant labor can flex. Stephanie Stanton joins us with the latest from Los Angeles, where one of the largest rallies was held today.
There were empty markets and empty restaurants in parts of Los Angeles today. But in other areas of town, the streets were full. It was the so-called Day Without Immigrants across the U.S., a day when hundreds of thousands of immigrants and their supporters skipped work and shopping all over the country and rallied in support of amnesty for millions of undocumented workers.
We do not want to hurt the economy, but we do want people to be changed in the way they think.
Rallies were held at state capitals from Texas to Colorado. Police said 400,000 people were at this one rally in Chicago. In New York, immigrant supporters formed a human chain. And at the border outside San Diego, protesters blocked roads to keep Mexican nationals from spending money in the U.S. No matter how or where the protests were held, the message was basically the same.
We're asking for a chance to stay and work legally and be part of the United States.
But while the size of the rallies was impressive, it isn't clear whether this display of political and economic clout will help or hurt the immigrant cause. In Los Angeles, Stephanie Stanton, NBC News.
In Grand Junction today, about a dozen local activists gathered outside the federal building this afternoon to show support for immigration reform policies. Members of the Western Slope Justice for Immigrants Coalition presented 1,500 petitions to Senator Wayne Allard's office today. The petitions urged Senator Allard to support comprehensive immigration reform and were collected at the April 10th Immigration March and Rally in Grand Junction. And upwards of 4,000 people attended that demonstration, but today's turnout paled in comparison. Some Latinos say showing up meant losing their jobs, and others say people have looked at them differently since the rally.
I see the looks that I get in the community when I walk into a store or a grocery store or just shopping. I've never felt these looks before. I've felt that since April 10th simply because I am Mexican, but folks don't know if I'm documented or undocumented.
Some members of Grand Junction's Latino community abstained from spending any money at stores today in the Grand Valley. Capping off today's immigration events was a prayer service held tonight on the steps of the Old County Courthouse. Organizers of the service say the hour-long gathering that featured prayers and shared stories from immigrants and Americans alike was not a march or a rally and did not support or denounce any political stances concerning immigration issues. We caught up with some folks at the rally tonight in Grand Junction.
This is really a demonstration for civil rights in general, for the rights of all human beings to seek a better life, to seek a better existence. And it's not the struggle of one race over another, or the struggle of Spanish speakers versus English speakers. It's a struggle for humans in general.
Several dozen people attended tonight's prayer service. Tonight, Grand Junction officials associated with the Riverside Parkway project gave city council members an update on where the project stands. There was both good news and bad news, as Public Works and Utilities Director Mark Relf told council members that the massive project will be done by the projected 2008 deadline. But a rise in construction costs will put the project into a $10 million shortfall. Although $5 million of that will be taken care of by a contingency fund set up within the project's budget. With the shortfall, the city has several options to adjust, which include shaving some of the aesthetic aspects of the project. But city leaders could tap into a capital budget for the funds. However, that would delay any other capital projects. Ralph also announced the bid for Phase 2, the largest component of the project, which came in just over $31 million, slightly below what parks and utility officials were expecting. A man accused of shooting at local law enforcement during a manhunt late last year was in court today. Samuel Lincoln appeared for a preliminary hearing at the Mesa County Justice Center. Lincoln faces 2 charges of attempted murder after deliberation, along with vehicular eluding. The suspect also faces 2 counts of first-degree assault against a peace officer. Lincoln allegedly fired shots at a Mesa County Sheriff deputy vehicle while attempting to evade authorities. Lincoln was wanted for allegedly shooting a man in the desert north of Grand Junction, and after an intense manhunt was arrested in Glenwood Springs in December. He's expected to return to court later this month. Many recent published reports and polls are suggesting that cursing has become more common among adults and grade school children alike. 11 News reporter Mike DeFina explores if it's a problem for teens in the Grand Valley in part 1 of his series on kids and cursing.
Education, going on 25 plus years now, and when you talk about kids and their language, it's definitely changed over the last 25 years.
Observations by Grand Junction High School Activities Director Johnny Walker have been mirrored by not only research by the California company Gateways to Better Education, saying that 36% of teachers believe profanity is more prevalent than just 5 years ago, but students would agree as well.
You can't walk through the halls and not hear profanity, and you just say what you hear. So, I mean, you hear so much cussing, it's just kind of natural.
You hear it a lot, so it's bad to say, but you almost get used to it.
You may think back to when you were in high school and what punishment may have been dished out for cursing in the hallways. However, things have changed.
It's addressed when you hear it as a teacher or an administrator, but on the same token, you're not taken down to the principal's office and taken home for that particular day. Whereas 25, 30 years ago, you dropped a bomb in the hall and a teacher heard you, were probably going home for that day, and probably maybe a school suspension.
However, while cursing has become part of everyday conversation for some, students who do curse say there are times when it's inappropriate.
We definitely didn't swear in basketball because we had to run for it. And in soccer, when you swear, you get red carded. So you really try and make it a habit not to automatically say a bad word because it'll be bad. You're gonna get punished.
Students seem more controlled when they're around teachers.
While many say that television, movies, and music have a great influence, some believe that it's just a sign of the times.
Because of the tolerance, kids, it's just part of their banter. It's part of their speech.
In Grand Junction, Mike DeFina, KKCo 11 News.
Tune in to 11 News at 5:30 tomorrow for part 2 of Mike's series on kids and cursing. A teenager causes damage to a canal diversion trunk in Clifton tonight, and officials say she may have been going too fast. The 16-year-old Grand Valley resident was traveling southbound on 32 and an 8th road. State troopers say she negotiated a bend in the road the wrong way, sending her vehicle off the road and causing a concrete irrigation control valve to be demolished. Officials believe speed was a factor in the accident, and the teen was cited for careless driving but was not injured in that accident. A distracted rider causes a crash in the back of a car today, sending 2 people to the hospital. Officials say Harley-Davidson rider Daniel Norton was distracted and slammed into the rear of a car stopped at 15th Street at the intersection there. He was sent to St. Mary's Hospital with unknown injuries. Norton's daughter Melissa was a passenger in the bike. She was ejected and also sustained unknown injuries. None of the injuries are thought to be life-threatening, and neither the rider nor the passenger were wearing helmets. A Grand Junction man who was hospitalized after a stabbing incident last month is happy to be reunited with his loving pets today. 11 News reporter Allison Bansoff has more about this happy reunion.
Bob Winchester's cats, Freckles and Mojo, are back home today.
I like having them back. They're family, so to have both my cats back is important to me, and I'm glad they're back.
After being stabbed last month, allegedly by his son, the Royster's Humane Society received a call that Winchester's cats needed some help.
Everybody at the Humane Society is really excited when something like this happens. We really enjoy helping the community, and this was an opportunity for us to help somebody out that really needed it.
The Royster's Humane Society watched the cats for the past 5 weeks while Winchester was recovering in the hospital.
They can get pretty fancy.
Now Bob is trying to focus on his recovery. Today, he stopped by the Sylvan Learning Center where he works to get reacquainted.
I want to get back to teaching as soon as I can, and this was certainly the first step to doing that.
Winchester says he is thankful for the help he received and says having his cats back at home will help his recovery.
I feel fine. I'm glad to have my cats back. I'm doing fine. I'm getting better every day. Thank you.
In Grand Junction, I'm Allison Banshoff, KKCo 11 News.
Friends have set up a fund to help out with Winchester's medical bills. If you would like to donate, you can drop off donations at U.S. Bank at 422 White Avenue in Grand Junction, 81501. Donations are being accepted under the care of the Bob Winchester Medical Fund. A new youth shelter is opening its doors in Grand Junction. We'll have that story coming up in just a moment on 11 News. And many investors are now using their money for companies committed to improving the environment, and some major companies are jumping on the bandwagon after seeing just how much money can be made. Details coming up.
You're watching KKCo 11 News, the ones to watch.
We're all created equal, right? Well, maybe not so equal. Because some of us will come into this world without the legal rights to protect and support our future partner and children. Some of us will be left vulnerable and unprotected when it comes to healthcare benefits, medical decisions, and naming a guardian. Why? Because some of us were born gay. Until domestic partnerships are a reality, your voice needs to be heard.
Get ready to jam. June 22nd and through the 25th is Pinnacle Homes Country Jam. 4 days of Nashville's hottest artists, all gracing one massive stage. Featuring Saturday, America's superstar Carrie Underwood. Friday, Alan Jackson. And Sunday, Gretchen Wilson's here for the party. Don't miss this all-star lineup and get your tickets today at Stop and Save locations or by calling 1-800-530-3020. Turn up the heat this summer and get ready to jam at Pinnacle Homes Country Jam.
That's where we did it.
At More Storage, we make storage units with balconies, with windows and porches and double doors. We make storage units for your car, your tools, your toys, and your garden. We make little ones, big ones, and even bigger ones. We make log cabins, wood barns, and quality metal carports. We make storage units for her and for him.
You like the way we do business at More Storage Sales.
Delivered anywhere for any purpose. Just ask for it, we'll do it.
Closed captioning of 11 News is brought to you by DC Promotional Products.
You're watching KKCo 11 News at 10.
Mesa County commissioners are aware that foster care is a difficult but rewarding job, and today declared May as Foster Parent and Kinship Appreciation Month. Standing at the steps of the Mesa County Courthouse, the commissioners read the proclamation and also pointed to a plaque and ribbon-covered tree that will be planted in a park to mark the occasion. Every day abused and neglected kids are seen at the Mesa County Health Department. It's up to the 180 foster families in the county to provide a safe, nurturing, and loving home.
Kids need a good home. We love it. Every minute of it it's difficult at times. It's very difficult, but most of the time the rewards are just amazing. The rewards, that's why we do it, for the rewards.
Currently, there are more than 350 children and youth in foster care in Mesa County. For more information on foster care, call the Mesa County Department of Human Services at 244-8400. Months of work by volunteers from the Association of Building Contractors bears fruit today as the Treehouse Youth Shelter celebrates its grand opening. The new shelter is only the second in Colorado and provides basic needs of emergency housing, meals, and personal care for youth that have no other safe haven. The shelter can house up to 8 people between the ages of 15 to 18 for up to 15 days.
Well, I'm thrilled. It's something that I dreamed about, and 4 years ago I had a conversation in Denver with Jamie Van Leeuwen, who did run Urban Peak, and I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if we could have something like this in Grand Junction? And I never dreamed that we would actually have it and that it would be part of the Treehouse, so I'm just thrilled.
The shelter opens to its first clients this Friday and will be open year-round for 24 hours a day. Energy costs across the country and here in the Grand Valley are rising. Out of necessity, many companies are inventing new ways to harness power from the sun. 11 News' Bob Smith joins us now with a company that can do what no other solar company can.
Driving through the Grand Valley filled with its orchards, vineyards, and farm fields,
You become aware that none of this would be here if it weren't for irrigation water. Most of the solar pumping systems are generally limited to 5 horsepower. World Water and Power, however, has a solar pumping system called AquaMax that is capable of operating pumps up to 600 horsepower, making it the first company in the world with the power to deliver mainstream solar pumping capacity. The AquaMax system provides economical power with less long-term cost than competing diesel or expensive grid-connected power can. It delivers power without noise, pollution, or fuel. It's maintenance-free and is guaranteed for 25 years. At the present time, governments are giving tax credits that vary from 30 to 60%, and net metering allows the return of excess power to the utilities, which can be drawn down later free as needed. If more power is generated than is consumed, the meter will spin backwards using the electrical grid for storage. The management of World Water and Power Company says that their AquaMax system can pump water from canals, streams, rivers, lakes, and deep wells, and can pump thousands of gallons per minute. During emergencies such as Hurricane Katrina, a system driven by World Water and Power could supply emergency electricity and can draw surface water from lakes, streams, and other sources and provide clean water for up to 30,000 people each day with its purification system. If the mother of invention is necessity, then here's one company that's trying to give us power without harming the environment and using a source which will be with us forever. Bob Smith, KKCo 11 News.
Bob Smith will continue his series on renewable energy next Monday night, so please join us then. It's called socially responsible investing, putting your money where your conscience is and investing in companies working to improve the environment. This green investing, as it's being called, used to a boutique market, but now major companies are realizing there's money to be made by going green.
We're using what we call eco-imagination.
General Electric made a splash last year when it rolled out its eco-imagination division, designed to bring good things to light for the planet. But look who else has gone green.
Microsoft, Bank of America, ExxonMobil.
Hillary Kramer is a financial analyst who writes an investment column for AOL. And she says green investment is booming because big companies realize the environment is critical to the bottom line.
Creating technological efficiencies that make us all use less energy, less oil, less electric. That's a green investment.
Sure, there are the predictable ones such as organic grocer Whole Foods. But did you think Bristol-Myers Squibb?
Bristol-Myers, the ticker symbol is BMY, that's the best. It's included in most of these mutual funds, of the socially responsible funds, because they're developing technologies and medications that work holistically on certain chronic diseases.
Even the Sierra Club's mutual fund is full of surprises.
The Sierra Club's mutual fund, their top holdings include Hershey's, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, American Express. So there it's more about companies that are trying to make a positive impact.
If you ever doubted that going green was going mainstream, crunch the numbers. Today, $2.4 trillion, that's trillion with a T, are being invested worldwide in socially responsible companies. And green investing isn't about hugging trees, it's about making money.
These funds have performed phenomenally well. One of the best performing ones is the Ariel Appreciation Fund, which is up 21% in a 3-year period. Another one is the Neuberger and Berman Socially Responsible Fund, 18.5% over a 3-year period.
Being green is also a standard, forcing companies to change. Take Nike. It was kicked out of the club for its labor policies, so it changed.
Improved labor policy in their own plant in the United States as well as abroad, and they've created a non-toxic glue for shoes.
Right now, the biggest change we're seeing is in gas prices, giving us a crash course in the economies of ecology.
So we're starting to learn that all of us individually are responsible for making life better, our environment healthier, and our wallets fatter.
Wendy Rieger for NBC News.
Weatherman Butch McCain's